You have probably heard of the ick. It is a sudden, visceral feeling of disgust over something completely trivial that instantly kills romantic attraction. Someone chews too loudly or wears weird socks, and your interest evaporates. A few years ago, a woman found herself dealing with exactly this kind of trivial frustration. She was working 4 jobs to manage a high-stress daily routine and dating an older man who had 3 teenage daughters. One morning, after making breakfast for his entire family, she grabbed a single banana for herself to eat during a long car ride. Her boyfriend, who had already eaten his own meal, saw the banana, demanded it, and ate it without a second thought. It felt like a classic, ridiculous relationship grievance. She posted the story to an internet forum, framing it as a funny, low-stakes complaint about an annoying partner. But that humorous framing masked a deeply toxic environment. When thousands of strangers read her post, they did not laugh. The comments section flooded with urgent, dead-serious warnings that she was in physical danger. One commenter pointed out a chilling reality. Getting irrationally angry over a piece of fruit was a glaring symptom of a larger pattern of control, and they demanded to know how often she was forced to give in to his temper. Victims of abuse often develop a survival mechanism where they normalize constant, small-scale hostility. They become so attuned to their partner's moods that the danger becomes invisible until it's pointed out by someone standing outside the situation. The day after her post went viral, a mentor called her with an unusual offer. Recognizing the psychological signs of abuse, she told the young woman she had a safe room available if she ever needed to leave quickly. Hours later, a coworker offered her a hidden, secure apartment above a garage for rent. Suddenly, she had a tangible, physical escape route. Having her reality validated by millions of strangers online broke the illusion she had been living under. Armed with the courage that she wasn't crazy, she signed the lease the very next day and began quietly moving her belongings. When she finally told her boyfriend she was leaving, his facade cracked. He escalated into bizarre, attention-seeking behavior, eventually intentionally setting his own arm on fire on the kitchen stove. He used the severe burns to force her to stay. Even though she was fighting a 102-degree fever from the flu, she found herself trapped in the house, nursing him back to health. Forcing a victim to transition from an equal partner into a subservient caretaker is a documented mechanism of control. Abusers manufacture crises to induce guilt and physically halt an escape attempt. The situation reached its breaking point during an argument a few weeks later. The boyfriend forcefully confiscated her phone, severing her only connection to the outside world. When she tried to walk out the door, he violently pinned her against the wall, screaming inches from her face, before throwing her down. He locked her in a chokehold. As she kicked, fought, and tried to tap out, the mechanics of the assault became clear. The harder she fought for her life, the tighter he squeezed her neck, until she lost consciousness. She woke up alone on the floor. Gasping for air, she grabbed her small dog, ran out of the house, and drove to a nearby gas station in a state of severe physical shock. At the hospital, doctors and police systematically documented the assault. They recorded broken capillaries, severe bruising on her neck, and ankle injuries from her desperate attempts to escape. This diagram shows the statistical correlation between non-fatal attacks and future lethality. In the medical field, strangulation is a specific, terrifying milestone. It is often the final precursor to a fatal attack, representing the ultimate exertion of power over another's life. While she was lying unconscious on the floor, her abuser was already standing in the kitchen, calmly using her phone to text his friends and ex-wife, telling them she had gone crazy. This flowchart maps out a strategy called the preemptive narrative spin. This occurs when an abuser transmits false data points to a shared social network before the victim has a chance to wake up and tell their side. By discrediting the victim immediately, the abuser ensures that when the victim finally asks for help, no one will believe her. The hospital staff mandated a police report, and the boyfriend was arrested the following morning, initiating a long, arduous legal battle to hold him accountable. His immediate instinct to control the narrative while she was unconscious proves the internet commenters were accurate. He possessed a deeply manipulative psychology that operated with calculated precision, even in the immediate wake of violence. In the aftermath of the attack, the woman called her boss at the salon to explain why she couldn't come to work. Her boss replied that she had been expecting the call. On that exact date, years prior, her boss's own sister was murdered by strangulation at the hands of her boyfriend. That haunting coincidence reinforced the lethal reality of the situation. She had narrowly escaped becoming a fatal statistic. The internet provided a decentralized, objective lifeline for a woman trapped in a cycle of isolation. It offered the clinical distance needed to identify a pattern that had become invisible to the person living inside it. Psychological abuse relies on total isolation. When a victim is trapped in the fog of a toxic relationship, the objective perspective of strangers can cut through the manipulation, providing the force capable of saving a life.